This is an introduction to constant tension transport CTT system as produced by Lawson Hemphill. The machine is responsible for applying constant tension on the moving yarn, and we will be measuring different yarn properties such as friction, abrasion, lint, yarn profiles, entanglements, etc. Today's introduction will include first the parts of the machine and the tension arms which are responsible for applying the tension. So if we begin, this is the main instrument, and the one that you're looking at is called CTT Extended Range. The CTT comes in two different models, CTT Basic and CTT Extended Range. The difference is the capacity between the machine's ability to measure elongation and shrinkage. For example, the CTT Basic will measure elongation and shrinkage up to 25%, whereas the CTT Extended Range will measure elongation up to 200% and shrinkage up to 65%. As I said, this machine is CTT Extended Range. The main difference is the range knob and the range dial that you see in the middle of the machine, which allows us to control the tension arm. The yarn path is very simple. The yarn is placed on the floor. It comes to the pre-tension unit, then goes on to the input rolls for 10 reps. Then it will follow the yarn tension arm. Then it will go back to tensiometer, which is an optional item. If the tensiometer is not here, there will be a pulley. And following the tensiometer or the pulley, the yarn comes to the output rolls and will exit the machine through the aspirator. And the controls are located on the front, which is the speed control, run, jog, and stop buttons, and the length counter, which we will be using for lint and abrasion tests. The CTT side panel also houses several different air and electrical connections for 2 stop motions, main power, air for lint and abrasion attachment, and for the strobe light. When you are threading the machine, you will be running the machine at the jog speed. It will be a slower speed, and every time you release the jog pedal, the machine will stop. In the beginning, you can adjust the jog speed to your convenience at a slower rate. As you get more experience, you can increase the jog speed by turning this jog speed knob in either direction. Now we're going to talk about CTT tension arms. CTT tension arms are the heart of this instrument because they're responsible for applying input tension on the yarn and keeping that constant throughout the test. The CTT tension arms can apply any input tension from 2 grams to 700 grams on the running yarn, from 20 meters a minute to 360 meters a minute. Here we are showing the tension arms that comes with each and every CTT. Arm number 0, arm number 1, arm number 2, and arm number 3. Each of these arms, as you can see, have a different yarn guide and different spring. The springs are responsible for applying and maintaining the tension. So here in this case, arm number 0 can apply and maintain tension on the yarn up to 10 grams. Arm number 1 can apply up to 100 grams. Arm number 2 can apply up to 350 grams. And arm number 3 up to 700 grams. The arms should always be kept inside the box whenever they are not in use. Like that. Okay? When you start training for the first time to your colleagues, you should be picking up arm number 2. Arm number 2 is one of the arms that has a strong spring. The main arm for the machine is arm number 1. However, as you can see, arm number 1 does not have a nut and screw assembly as shown on the other arms. The reason for this is arm number 1 is the main arm for the CTT machine, which means it is responsible for the calibration of all the arms plus the input tension levels on the machine. So when we attach arm number 1 on the CTT, what we do is we put the arm on the base and attach it directly onto the machine. When you're training or starting to train, you should always start with arm number 2. Attach it to the base. Thread the nut and screw assembly and attach the arm number 2 spring to its own, like that. So now you're almost ready to start threading your machine. Before we go and start threading the instrument, I'd like to show you the scales on the instrument. There are 2 scales which are called A and B. When we are using arms, we need to read from the relevant scale. For example, if we are using arm number 2, as in this case, we should be looking at scale A and read directly from scale A. In this case, you can see we are trying to apply 20 grams of tension, each increment referring to 10 grams on this arm. If we use arm number 0, for example, then we will be reading from scale B and we will be dividing each number by 10. For example, if this is arm number 0 and this is the setting, then this will be 1 gram tension. 10 divided by 10 equals to 1 gram tension. If I use arm number 1, then I would be reading from scale B and directly. So in this case, arm number 1 and this setting will be 10 grams of tension. If I replace the arm and put in the arm number 3, then I would be reading from scale B and multiplying the number by 10. Again, at this setting of 1, using arm number 3, this will be 100 grams of tension. Up to 700 grams of tension we can apply arm number 3.